Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, I did actually go for a run this morning, thus if you're watching this on YouTube, clean, wet shower hair though, because I'm not going to spend the time to dry it when I'm probably just going to jump in the pool later today. Anyways, I received a lot of downloads while I was running, and so we're going to talk about one of them. So I was just about done with the run. I did just over 3 miles today. It was a shorter run, and I was within a mile from the house, and this cyclist passed me, and I saw him off in a distance, and then as he got closer to me, I chuckled because he passed me on the bike path, but there was this tiny little puddle that he proceeded to totally jump over on his bike. And it wasn't a mountain bike. This was an older gentleman. It wasn't a mountain bike. It was definitely a road bike. And I just thought, well, if you're gonna do it, you might as well have fun. And I got a glimpse of his outfit, and it was like this old school checkered pattern full bike thing. I think he even had that tiny little biker hat that you see, cyclist hat with like the fake brim. It's like this little plastic cheesy thing. And I just got a real chuckle out of it. And it was a good reminder of, if you're going to do it, it may as well be fun, right? And because I was thinking about this yesterday when I was working out, wondering if it was, for whatever reason, that the idea popped into my head about maybe people aren't necessarily missing all of these supplements, right? Supplements have become this huge industry, where you're getting the iron and the potassium and the magnesium and the this and the that. And I thought, what if people just had more joy? Would that be the answer to the thing? If people had more fun, would their body essentially self-regulate, and would they not need all of the supplements? Now, as someone who takes supplements, I understand their value, right? That's not what I'm discrediting at all. But if you had more joy, would your body naturally work better? And I believe so. There has been some science to prove that, some studies that I've done. I know because I've read them, right? But it's so interesting because a lot of us are like, well, I don't have time for that, or I don't have the money for that, or I don't have the blah, blah, blah for that, right? And they put off all of these things that could in fact bring them joy, which raise your elevation, raise your energy level and your consciousness, and thereby do a world of things, right? Just think for a second. When was the last time you had a really good laugh? A really good laugh. I bet you felt great for a long time after that. It wasn't like a split second kind of thing. You continued to chuckle about it maybe for days later, right? And what if more of your life was like that? What if more of it was enjoyable? What would open up for you? What would be possible? And I bring all of this up because this was actually how I started my business as the Overjoyed Mom. And I gave no thought of it. I was like, why would you not enjoy motherhood? Like, you signed up for it. Why would you not enjoy the process of it? Now, yes, there are stressful days and stressful moments, but the large portion of motherhood is enjoyable. And what's interesting is that it's at different stages now where, I do have a third grader and I do have a sophomore in college. And so it's just, it's learning how to navigate the conversations with them, because I've did obviously very different conversations with my 19-year-old son as I do with my 9-year-old daughter, obviously, right? But it's a full spectrum of like watching my 9-year-old be really good at Marco Polo because she watched how I played Marco Polo and now she's like a ninja Marco Polo player. Partly because she's so little, but she's like, oh, I see what we do. Okay, got this, right? And then, in the same breath, having this conversation about where you see yourself in 10 years with my 19-year-old son, right? Like the future planning and being fully in the moment. And it's really just kind of this fun stretch and pull, right? Of like, where are we breaking that capacity, right? That norm, essentially. So, but let's bring it all back to where would you be if you had more fun doing it? Just imagine, right? Like, and I don't even care if you have the most mundane job in the entire world. How could you make it more fun? Because I'll tell you what, you tap into a different source of energy, so to say, when you make things fun. You really do, right? And I remember starting this years and years and years ago when I found myself getting like totally frustrated and annoyed at the fact of like folding laundry, right? I was like, oh God, right? Started to dread the laundry. Well, then it was like I started to dread the whole day because it was a laundry day. And that seemed stupid to me. Like, why would I dread a whole entire day simply because it was laundry day? So I started to figure out how could I make laundry more enjoyable. And it started with like, oh, well, let me listen to a podcast and let me watch one of my shows, right? And then I got so efficient at it that it was just something that took a few minutes of my day at that point, right? Because I thought, okay, let me do this while I'm folding laundry. But each load of laundry was taking me 5 minutes, so it would take me weeks to watch one episode of whatever show I was watching at the time. And so I just quit that and I was like, all right, fine. This is just going to be like, it's going to just take me 5 minutes to fold a little laundry and that's just going to be what it is, right? And same things with the dishes. And the other day, right, I found myself getting so annoyed at the amount of hairballs that were running through my living room. I have a Pomsky, so she's part Pomeranian, part Husky, which means she's does nothing but shed all day, every day, especially in the summertime. And it is crazy to me where these hairballs even come from. And I got so frustrated. I think I had vacuumed 6 times that day that I finally ordered this vacuum comb or this vacuum brush on Amazon, and I was like, okay, this might help a little bit. So I've enlisted my kids to vacuum the dog coming in and out of the house, right? And then my girlfriend was here, and I started to get annoyed at the hairballs, and then I said, you know what? I said, isn't it a blessing that I have the ability to be frustrated by this hairball? And she kind of stopped and looked at me for a second, and I said, no, like, a blessing because I don't seem to have anything else to complain about but this hairball. Isn't that kind of cool? And she was like, well, I guess when you put it that way. And I said, yeah, like, where are you flipping the script here? Like, where are you actively shifting yourself? Because that is what helps you to get to where you really want to go. So I say all of this because, right, my parents are in retirement ages, and I really, and my siblings are starting to get there too. And so it's like you work all of these years to have fun later. And that just never ever resonated with me. Never ever did it resonate with me. I was like, why would I work in my youth like a crazy person and hope that someday I did it right and be able to retire and have fun in the future? Because I can tell you what, there are some people that I know that are retired and are miserable AF. Like, There's nothing about their day where I'm like, oh, yes, I can't wait to retire for that. However, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, a lot of business owners that I know that, yes, they work now, but they also have fun now. One of my son's best friends, their family travels all the time. And he owns businesses. He's got, multiple ventures and all the things, but they travel all the time. They're not waiting until they're retired to do all of those things. They decided that they wanted to have time and money freedom simultaneously. And that's what they've created. And it's so cool to be able to watch. So cool to be able to see, like, people my age, right, 40s and 50s, really enjoying life fully. So I'm going to ask you again, if you're going to do it, why not make it more fun? How can you make the task? How can you make your things on your to-do list more fun? How can it be more enjoyable? How can you make it a game? Because the truth is, it's all really just a game. There's a book that was written years and years and years ago. Florence, I never remember her last name, but it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And you get so much more out of life when you can actually enjoy it. If you're not sure how, just look at your kids. Look at anyone else who seems to be having fun, or spend some time with yourself for a minute and try to figure out, what would I be doing if I had more fun? Start there. All right. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.